What's up guys, Gavin here, and in this video we're gonna summarize this book, Bing, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, this book is basically the Bible of success. It's probably created more millionaires than anything else on the planet. So if you learn these principles, which are scientific principles to success in life, you can actually achieve anything you want. But you have to actually become this wisdom. You can't just hear it and then not do anything with it. So if you can learn this in this video, take action on it, apply it, become it, you will be able to achieve anything that you want, and you will be able to think and grow rich. All right, guys, let's dive right into the beginning of this book, which is, if you want to accomplish big dreams in this life and actually achieve something amazing, you always have to start with a burning desire. You can't just have some small little goals that don't give you much motivation. You have to have something so deep, so strong, so fueled by this burning desire that it's impossible for you not to achieve it. So how do you get a burning desire? Well, some of us just have it in us innately, but I also do believe that we can create it. How do we create a burning desire? Well, number one, we're gonna ask ourselves, what is that dream? What is that incredible dream that we have that we want so bad? And then we're gonna ask ourselves, what is the nightmare scenario? What would my life be like if I didn't go after this? What would it be like if I stayed the way I am? And we wanna increase this gap from, wow, that dream is so freaking amazing. That movie of what I want my life to look like is so amazing. I'm gonna help so many people, my friends, my family, everybody is going to benefit because I achieve this. And then we look at the opposite, which is how our life's gonna be if we don't do that. And we increase this gap, and that gap is where that desire is gonna come from. And we are gonna want it so bad. We're gonna wanna achieve that so bad. We're gonna wanna move away from the others so bad that we're gonna have no choice but to become the person that we need to become to achieve the things that we want to achieve. Now, after we have that deep level burning desire, that's when we can start to set goals and create plans of action, create our battle plans, right? Goals without burning desire, though, are empty. So we have to have that burning desire that's gonna fuel our massive action that we're gonna take, but then we're gonna start to set up goals. What I love about the universe that we live in, and I talk about this all the time, is it's built on very specific laws. I have this phone right here. If I drop it, I know it's gonna fall. It's gonna happen every single time. That's a beautiful thing to know, that we live in a universe that is governed by these laws, because it means if we take certain actions, we get certain results. That means once we have that burning desire, we can actually see, okay, if I start to take these actions on a regular basis, these are the results that are gonna come. And I can create an entire plan, and I can reverse engineer that plan so I can actually start to create it. Now, there's other things that are gonna happen along the way, which you can't predict. You're gonna run into certain people that are gonna benefit your life. You are going to have obstacles and challenges come up that you couldn't have predicted. But overall, you have your goal set and you have your plan. It's just like if you were to just put a boat out into the middle of the ocean with no aim, it's just gonna float around and eventually be sunk in the ocean somewhere or on a deserted island. If you wanted to go to a certain island, or if you wanted to go to a certain place, you're gonna set your goal to where that's gonna be, and you're gonna keep heading there. And even if storms happen and this and that, you're gonna figure it out along the way, and eventually you're gonna get to your destination. So you really wanna have that goal set, the plan of action to get there, and then of course you have to be adaptable along the way, which we're gonna talk about in a second. That's where the next piece comes in, which is having unwavering faith in yourself. This is a very difficult one to get across to people. The people who have unwavering faith, who just know they're gonna achieve their goals, they take more action, they persist more, they keep doing the things, they just know that they're going to achieve it, so they keep doing everything because they know it's gonna happen. Now, there was a study they did on optimism with some rats, and I don't necessarily condone these studies. However, they do give us great insight into behaviors and why we do what we do and how we do what we do. So they had this study where they turned these lights off and they put these rats in a pool, and this rat would swim around and eventually it would find this little island. So it was blind, it couldn't see, but eventually it would find this island. Then they would take out the island and put another rat in. It would swim around, and eventually this rat would give up. So it had given up and there was nowhere else to go. Now they would take the other rat who had first found that island and they would put it in, and there would be no island again. But this rat would swim for twice as long as the other one. Why? Because it had faith and it believed that there was an island to save it. So twice as long, it was putting in twice the amount of effort, twice the amount of faith, twice the amount of belief to finally find this island. Now, think about that in life. People who don't believe that they're going to achieve their goals and don't have unwavering faith in themselves give up very easily. So you can give them a goal and they can head towards it and they make a couple mistakes or a couple challenges come up and they give up. The person with massive amounts of faith, they keep going regardless. They keep figuring it out. They keep meeting more people. They're doing everything because they just know they're going to figure it out. And that's what you have to have if you're going to reach any high level of success in anything. And this is where auto-suggestion comes into play, because auto-suggestion can influence our behavior and actually rewire us at a subconscious level. Now, something to understand is when we imagine something in our minds and imagine ourselves doing the thing in our mind, our subconscious mind can't tell the difference between an imagination and a movie in our mind and reality. The subconscious mind accepts them both as truth, both as real. So if you are constantly suggesting to yourself and imagining yourself being greater than you are going to pull that version of yourself to the present moment. But here's the problem for the majority of people is they base their reality based off of who they used to be and who they believe they currently are. And if that person who they believe they used to be and currently is used to fail and used to never get what they want and used to never be the type of person who can achieve anything, then what would happen is they're going to take the actions and believe that that's who they are. But if that same person were to start every day imagining themselves as their ideal version of themselves, the person who does achieve things, the person who attracts amazing people, the person who can get anything they want within life, then that eventually, as that subconscious mind gets rewired to believe that they are that, because the subconscious can't understand the difference between a real experience and a experience in the mind, you can start to train the subconscious mind to believe your identity is that greater version, and then you will start to take the actions and behaviors that that person would take because that's who you believe your identity to be. This is a way to hack into your reality, to pull out your potential, which leads us to knowledge is power, but it doesn't have to be what you learned in traditional education. So what I mean by this is we want understanding of the world. We want wisdom. We want experience and multiple perspectives, because any system, if you have any system in the world, the system that has the most adaptability, because it has the most experience and the most amount of perspectives, and it can handle the more situations, that system's always going to outperform a system that is just more linear and simple. So the more complex the system that it can handle more different feedback loops from different angles, the better it will do. So let's just take chess, for example. A person who just kind of knows the rules of chess versus the person who's seen every chess match and who's experienced every chess match is always going to beat the person who just has some theory or some knowledge about chess. What we want is we want that wisdom from multiple experiences, also reading tons of different knowledge and having as many perspectives and being able to see the world through as many different lenses as possible. This will allow us to always make the best decisions in each situation. Whereas somebody else might only see it from one perspective, so that's all they're going to be able to see, that's all they're going to be able to act upon. You can see each situation in so many different perspectives, so whether that's for your business, or in your family life, whatever it is, you can always solve problems at such a higher level much quicker because of your ability to have wisdom within that situation. Which then leads us to the workshop of the imagination. This is where we start to turn our dreams into reality. Now, if you just look around you in your physical reality, you can see all these different things, right? Now, your imagination has limitless possibilities of what it can see. When you look around here, it's basically what you see. But when you start to use your imagination, you can always see beyond. So even if you look around at the things you see, so even if I were to look at this phone, I could see a phone, or I could use my imagination to see what this phone can help me achieve. I can use this phone to imagine the people that I can call and connect with. I could use this phone to imagine the video that I can shoot and then upload and have thousands of people see it. Your imagination will create your dreams. So you can actually look into the future, paint a movie of what you want your life to look like I did with the perfect day, which I talked about over and over, wrote down from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed exactly what I wanted my life to look like. That movie of what I wanted my life to look like, 6 pages I imagined in my mind, and now I live out here in beautiful Bali in this unbelievable villa and have the most incredible friends and literally do exactly what I want based off of the vision that I painted and then reverse engineered and created. Your imagination is the most powerful thing in the world. That's why Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. Every single thing, including this iPhone, was first just a vision in somebody's mind. It did not exist in the physical reality. It wasn't even conceivable by the majority of people, but someone imagined it and then we created it. It's unbelievable. So do not take this for granted. Most people spend very little time in their imagination creating the reality that they want. That's why they continue to get more of what they currently have. You want to spend more time in your imagination, really seeing that vision of who you want to become and what you want to achieve, and feel into it and get a burning desire for it. And then when you wake from that imagination, you start to act and behave in accordance to what that is. So you start to move towards it as the person that you've been visualizing being. Oh, the power of this is so incredible. We can actually create different vibrational frequencies within ourselves by pulling that future vision of ourselves and who we want to be into the present moment, and then act and behave like them so the things that we want come to us automatically. So next, we're going to have to understand what our strengths and our weaknesses are if we're going to give ourselves the best chance of professional and personal success. And the reason is if you develop your personal strengths, you are going to have more impact with whatever you do. If you focus too much on your weaknesses, you're going to spend a lot of time doing something you're not very good at, and it's not going to have a lot of impact. But when we focus on our strengths and then we build teams around us of people who are very good at the things that they're very good at, then we end up building this power team that together can do something incredible. And this is why people like Steve Jobs were able to build such amazing companies, because he knew his strengths and then he went out and he found the smartest people he could possibly find at all the things that he needed in order to build an amazing company, and he ended up building one of the greatest companies in the world. But he could have never done it on his own because he was not strong at every area. He was only good at what he was good at. So in order for us to think and grow rich, we have to think about and optimize and reflect on what our strengths. And then we have to develop those more and more and more while finding people who are really good at the things that we aren't good at, so we can build that power team. This is one of the most important things we can possibly do. We have to learn how we learn best. Are you an audio learner? Are you better watching videos? Do you learn better when you're listening to people debate? Do you learn better when you're just hands-on like a mechanic? What is it? And then we have to understand, like, what are our values? What do we align with? When we start to understand our strengths and we start to really figure out what our weaknesses are, we can then focus 90% of our time on our strengths and maybe 10% of the time on our weaknesses, because some of those things we have to do in life anyways. And then we're gonna have a lot more impact with what we do, which then leads us to positive emotions and how important they are and how they need to be strengthened if we want to succeed at a high level. Now I'm gonna take this from maybe a different angle than some other like self-help gurus may talk about it. I really don't believe in just like thinking positive all the time. Even if things are going super negative, just think positive, everything's just gonna show up and happen for you. No, that's not really how I look at it, and that's not really how Napoleon Hill looks at it. However, positive emotions and feeling good and feeling like you can overcome challenges even when they come up are extremely important, especially optimism that you are going to succeed in the long term. So I like to say I'm a long-term optimist and I'm more of a short-term pessimist, meaning I know things aren't always going to work out in the short term, but long term I know I'm going to achieve my goals. So if something is not going exactly how I want it to go, I don't call it a problem. I'll just say, okay, here's an opportunity to learn something and grow, and here's a challenge I'm facing that if I overcome, I'm for sure in the future going to get my long-term vision. Why? Because I'm overcoming the challenges along the way. But I really don't believe in the positive thinking, just, delusional, like everything's gonna come to you. I believe in going after what you want, but knowing that you're gonna achieve it and knowing you're gonna bust through all barriers along the way. So you're positive regardless of what does happen to you, but you're still pushing forward and actually achieving things along the way. You're not just sitting there believing it's going to come to you because you're sitting in this state of bliss. You can't just sit in a state of bliss and everything comes to you. It's like kind of like a magnet. A magnet, when you're going out in the world and you're trying to achieve things, you are like the magnet that's getting closer and closer and closer and then attaches. But the magnet, if it just stays here in a positive vibration, it's not going to pull this over there. That's not going to happen. It has to get closer and closer and closer. So I believe in going after your goals, and as you get close, you start to meet the right people, you start to find the right information, you start to learn things about yourself, you start to develop yourself more, and as that starts happening, you start to get closer and closer to your vision. But I do believe in putting yourself in a state of positivity about optimism of the future and knowing you're going to achieve your goals. And in the next part, Napoleon Hill talks about how all successful people are extremely determined. They have such a strong determination. They are going to bust through every single barrier in order to get the things that they want, in order to succeed. Now, this is just something that not everybody has. A lot of people give up. As soon as the road gets tough, they give up. There's only a small amount of people in this world that no matter what happens, they keep going. They set a goal and they know no matter what, they are going to achieve this goal. And every single day they wake up, they create these habits and behaviors that are success habits and behaviors that are going to lead them to the success they want. But they know it's not just gonna happen out of nowhere. They know it's not just gonna happen because they want it to. It's going to happen because of their determination to make it happen, which is going to allow them to put themselves in the positions every single day that even if it's painful, they will go through it in order to succeed. The problem for a lot of people is they give up too early. And the reason they give up too early is because they just don't believe that they're going to be able to overcome the challenges. If they believed, if they knew they were going to overcome the challenge, of course they would keep going. They would go through that pain to get there, but they just don't believe it's possible, or they just don't think it's worth it because they don't know how good it's going to feel to achieve it, or their why and their motivation and their mission is just not strong enough. But the people who succeed at the highest level, their determination is so strong, and it's never going to, nothing is going to stop them from achieving it. All right, so I would say determination is king, but I would say that persistence is queen, because determination is extremely important, but determination isn't that hard. You're determined, you know you're going to get it, you're going to go after it, but to actually stay persistent when the challenges are coming up, when every single day you're feeling some sort of challenge that you want to just say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to keep going forward, this is so painful, but every single day you keep getting up, you keep taking the actions, you keep moving forward, because you know if you keep doing this, eventually you're going to reach your goal. That's extremely hard, because for a human being, kind of like when you look up in the sky and you see the moon, you never see it move, but it's always moving, and it's moving very fast, but it looks like it's not moving. This is persistence. Like every single day you're taking these small actions. While you're taking those small actions, you don't see the progression, but over time that persistent action gets you extremely far. But just like when you eat like a donut, you can immediately taste it and you can be like, oh, that tastes so good. And you can get a good response from it. When you're trying to think about health, health doesn't form when you eat the broccoli. It doesn't just form out of nowhere. You don't just see the health change. But over time, month after month, after working out and eating the healthy foods, you start to get in great shape. But if you were to just give up after the first 7 days because you don't see the results, that would be very stupid, because you wouldn't understand the laws of the universe. There's a period, a gestation period, that takes time in order for the persistence to accumulate. And as it accumulates, it gets more and more and more, and it becomes this like a snowball rolling down the hill, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But you just can't see it fast enough, so most people will give up. They want to see the physical results now. They want to eat the tasty food now. They want to have that instant gratification right now. But for the person who succeeds at a high level, they're willing to not necessarily taste the healthy food or taste the donut right now. They're gonna eat this healthy food over and over again for long periods of time so they can then experience the achievement of actually becoming very healthy, which takes much time and persistence. And lastly, what I believe is the most important to achieving what you want is being smart and surrounding yourself with extremely smart people, usually people much smarter than yourself. Now, when I say the word smart, does that necessarily mean you have to have 160 IQ? No, I don't believe that. There's a lot of people who've succeeded who have not the highest IQ. However, it requires making very good decisions. It requires looking into the future and actually thinking about what you want. It requires not just doing things in the now and hoping things work out. It requires planning and actually doing things that you need to do in order to get the results you want. Knowing and looking at the laws of the universe, looking at the laws of human nature, and start to understand this stuff so you can start to align yourself with it so you can get your results a lot easier. But even more important than that, as being smart yourself, is surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you. You've heard it many times, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I think this is the #1 law in the universe that if you follow, you are going to get whatever you want. Why do I say that? Well, if you hang around with a bunch of people who are broke, you're going to be the 5th. If you hang around with 5 people who are wealthy, most likely you are going to become wealthy. You are going to pick up their habits, actions, behaviors, subconscious vibration, who they are, and you're going to start to become like them. If you take a child and you take him from 1 year old and you send him over, or an English speaking child, you send him over to China, by the time he's 10 years old, he speaks Chinese. Did he try to learn how to speak Chinese? No, he was just around Chinese speaking people, so he spoke the language. In anything in life, whether it's sports, business, whatever, the more you surround yourself with people who are at high levels of the things that you want to do, the more you start to pick up all their habits, actions, behaviors automatically. You don't even have to try. Now, and you're still going to have to take action and actually do the things that they do to get the results that they want. But the thing is, how the human brain works, how our mirror neurons work, is we actually copy the actions of the people we surround ourselves with more. So the hack in life is to surround yourself with people who are who you want to become as much as possible, which includes watching videos like this, which includes listening to audiobooks, which includes reading autobiographies. Those are all important too. So if right now you don't have that group of friends around you who are going to level you up, you can still do it digitally, which is incredible that we have access to this. People did not have access to this 100 years ago. They didn't have any way to do it. Yes, they could still read books, which was good, but to actually have someone standing in front of you on a video, or their audios and them talking to you in your ear while you're just driving around and doing regular things anyways, teaching you their secrets, allowing you to speak like them, talk like them, think like them, it's unbelievable. So you have to take advantage of it. But #1, get to events, hire mentors, be around the group of people that you need to surround yourself with to hit the level of success that you want. And it's not going to happen automatically, of course, but you're going to get there way faster and you're going to become it way faster because your body is actually going to be forced to. You're going to have no choice. Your mirror neurons are set up this way for a reason. You're going to change and evolve automatically as you do it because you're going to take those habits, actions, behaviors, all of it's going to start happening because that's how you are wired. All right, guys, so to finish off this summary, I just want you to understand that success at a high level is not luck. It's not a coincidence. It's not all these different things that people who are not successful want to call it because they want to feel better about themselves for the fact that they are not achieving the things that they want. But at the end of the day, this universe is built off of very specific laws, and these laws have been reverse engineered, and hundreds and thousands of people have gone through these same processes to achieve success. We know now that they work over and over and over and over again. We just have to embody them and apply them. None of this stuff will work if you only just think about it. Even though the book is called Think and Grow Rich, the difference is you have to think the thoughts, and then those thoughts have to become a part of you, and you have to take the actions. The cool part is if you start to think this way, the actions follow automatically. So when you start to have a super strong desire and every morning you wake up and you think about what you want and you truly write it down and you get super motivated, your body will start to automatically start taking the actions needed. However, you still need to develop these skills and develop your strengths and develop yourself into that person. But it's gonna happen as you start to think this way. And if you're thinking negative all the time, you're not gonna do it. If your desire isn't strong enough, you're not gonna take action, you're not gonna be motivated. When you start to put all these things into place, and then you have the desire, the persistence and the determination, and you surround yourself with the right people, and you start to put all this stuff together, it's going to happen for you. It's law. If you don't do these things or you're missing key elements, it's not going to happen for you. And I just want you to understand that. If you're not currently at the success level that you want, it's because in the past you have not developed these skills and you haven't put these habits in place and you haven't thought about things this way. So over time, the lag time effect has left you where you currently are. But right now, if you are changing and evolving, you also have to understand that even if you don't have what you want currently right now, if you've been developing these things, you're on this path up, and it could at any point shoot up as they all come together and connect. Sometimes it's just one thing of the circle of skills missing, or one way of thinking that's missing that's holding you where you're at. And sometimes it's 4 things, sometimes it's 5 things. But overall, understand that as long as you keep working at it and stay persistent and keep changing and evolving, you're gonna achieve the things you want. You just have to take the actions, and you gotta actually embody this stuff, and it's gonna happen for you. All right, guys, if you like this video, leave me a comment, let me know something valuable you got from this, or let me know something you can add to this. What is something that successful people do that most people don't know about that they should add to their life? Leave that comment below and subscribe to the channel. And if you want more book reviews, I have a lot more on the channel currently, and a lot more will be coming out. So guys, that's it for today. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.